Morning, Mr. Madden.
Morning, Randy.
You planting some flowers?
Flowers? No, lad. This is going to be a victory garden.
What kind of garden?
Victory garden. During the war, Roosevelt asked everybody to grow vegetables to help with the rationing. Now that we've got a peanut farmer in the White House, I thought it was time I did my bit.
Well, what are you putting in?
Well, tomatoes and cucumbers for starters. You got any suggestions?
Well, squash, string beans, potatoes.
Potatoes are a lot of trouble, aren't they?
They're no trouble at all. I'll bring you over some seed potatoes.
All right then. Potatoes it is. Let's have a look at the mail. Holy mackerel. I bet we get more catalogs than anybody in the county. Order something from one outfit and then they're all in the act. Now who could this be?
I brought your soup back. I wanted to thank you.
Not at all. How was the Rotary dance?
Oh, it was all right, I reckon.
Who did you take?
Paula.
Paula. Oh yes, the gal from the beauty parlor. I expect she's gonna miss you next fall.
Well, to tell you the truth, I don't even know if I'll be going to Chapel Hill.
How's that?
Well, it's all hanging on the scholarship.
They'd be first-class fools not to give you that award. Well, I got a scholarship to college and I didn't have half your qualifications. Not to mention how you've helped support your mother.
Well, I hope they see it that way.
They will. You know, lad, whatever you do, be sure to get the dope on the good professors before you sign up for any classes.
Well, they're all likely to be pretty good, aren't they?
Oh, don't you believe it? I had this one fellow, Professor Gottlieb. Old Gotti, we called him. I learned more from him than in all the rest of my classes combined.
Well, what did he teach?
Calculus. The application of derivative functions, to be exact.
That sounds kind of complicated.
But I thought at first, but old Gotti, he showed me that you could really do things with math.
Well, what kind of things?
Well, let's see. I used it to calculate deflection, load bearing, stress analysis. I need calculus to do all of that.
Stress analysis? For what?
To build a bridge.
You built bridges?
Well, that's what brought me to North Carolina in the first place, to build a bridge for buyers.
A big bridge?
Big enough. A 200-foot steel cantilever across the Swananoa.
You never said anything about being an engineer.
Well, that's what I was. Oh, there's Margaret. I guess she's wanting the mail.
Well, I'll take it in.
Well, I'll be Steve McDonald.
April 4, 1978. Dear classmate of 22, you were missed at the Brown 55th class reunion. There are quite a few of our classmates who would like to get caught up on all you've been doing since we graduated Brown. For those who are unable to attend, I am collecting biographical information that can be circulated. This first month's installment features the distinguished biographies of Robert Sherman and Ed Johnson. I will submit my own biography next month. Until then, here is a general outline. After graduation, I joined the brokerage house of Crowell and Lefferts in New York, one of the few firms to survive the Depression. I retired early in 1960. For the last 10 years, I've been raising horses on a farm outside Winchester, Virginia, and flying my Cessna. That's all for now. I look forward to receiving your biography.
Miss Madigan said to remind you, she needs you to go to the drugstore. Her medication's running low.
That's fine, lad. Was she working one of her crosswords?
No, just sitting back in her chair, resting.
Not surprising. She had a rough night.
About that bridge, where is it exactly?
Well, it used to be a quarter-mile from the mill. They tore it down when Interstate 40 came through.
I'd like to have seen that bridge.
I told the engineer from the Highway Commission they could use the bridge to support 2 of the lanes, but all he could talk about was reinforced cement. Reinforced cement. That cantilever bridge could have held up 4 times the weight of that sorry concrete mess they got there now.
Well, did you build any other bridges?
No, that was the only one.
Well, Miss Madigan wanted to know about the letter you got.
She did.
Well, I wheeled her over to the picture window so she could see the bird feeder, and she saw you out here reading.
It was nothing much. An old classmate of mine wanted a donation for the alumni fund.
Well, let me give you a hand turning this plot over.
Well, if you insist, I'll put you on the clock.
That's all right. Just give me a few potatoes and come up.
You'll get your potatoes, but you're still on the clock. You need to save money for Chapel Hill. Well, there he is, a gentleman and a scholar.
Hey, Mr. Madigan.
The postman came early today. I guess he's trying to beat the afternoon heat.
Yes, sir. Looks like another hot one.
What do you have there?
Oh, just this. How's the garden doing?
See for yourself. Cucumbers, beans, picked 2 nice squash. Look at all these potatoes. I can barely keep up with them.
Well, how are the honeydews?
They're my one disappointment. They get so big, then they go bad.
Well, have you been watering them?
Every day.
Well, maybe you're watering too much.
That's possible. Monday. Only water the melons twice a week.
What's that? Tape recorder?
A gift from Margaret, one of her mail order purchases. She claims I've been a little forgetful lately. Speak of the devil. She wants her morning pills.
Well, I'll take him in, but I can't finish the mowing today. I've got to be up at the garage.
What, on a Saturday?
Well, I'm starting new hours. Truth of the matter is, I just stopped by to give you both some news. I wanted to let you know, well, I'm getting married.
Married? You're getting married? To whom?
Paula.
Of course, Paula. Well, congratulations. Yes, indeed. How does Paula feel about moving to Chapel Hill?
Well, that's the other thing. I won't be going to Chapel Hill.
No?
I'll be attending Asheville Tech instead.
Asheville Tech?
I can work at the garage and take night classes.
What about the scholarship?
Oh, Ma's gonna let them know I won't need it.
Randy, a chance like this.
I'd better see about those pills.
Married. Good Godfrey.
July 15, 1978. Dear classmate of 22, rave reviews continue to pour in from the mini bios. This month's installment features the mini bios of George Tyler and Ron Dubell. I hope you will enjoy the accounts of these rich and rewarding lives. Meanwhile, I think you might enjoy the poetry of a former Brown graduate. I love my new trifocals. My dentures fit me fine. My hearing aid has perfect pitch, but God, I miss my mind. P.S. Dear Clarence, it has been more than 3 months since I wrote to you about sending in your mini bio. Try to give a complete account of your life. I hope you will recount the highlights without any sense of boasting. Be sure and tell us of your successes, and obviously leave out the inevitable unhappy and discouraging things that life hands us. I would really appreciate hearing from you since we were such good friends.
I guess I could send something just to get him off my back. Let's see now. Where should I begin?
Just start with June 1922.
1922.
Try to give a complete account of your life.
After graduation, I was employed by the Providence Cotton Mills as a systems engineer. After 2 years, I was assigned to a job in Asheville, North Carolina, where I designed a 200-foot bridge. The bridge received a design award from the State Civil Engineering Society.
Without any sense of boasting?
Let's see. In the spring of 1930, I planned to return to Rhode Island, where I had several offers to work. But those jobs dried up, as the Depression set in across the country.
Leave out the inevitable unhappy, discouraging things.
So I remained in Asheville, where I married Margaret Cordell. She was the smartest and prettiest girl in Asheville.
Without any sense of boasting.
We have had a fine life together. We're very proud of our daughter, Anne, who is a professor of education, and our two fine grandchildren, James and Susan. Now we are enjoying a peaceful retirement. Margaret has been struggling with rheumatoid arthritis.
Leave out the unhappy and discouraging things.
Margaret enjoys hobbies such as bird watching and working crossword puzzles. I have begun a vegetable garden that has produced ample supplies of tomatoes, beans, and squash.
Try to give a complete account of your life.
In 1941, I was offered a job with the government as a chief engineer. I accepted the job. We were excited to leave. Then I was told the job would be working on the Panama Canal. At the time, the canal was a war zone.
Recount the highlights.
By the 1950s, my title changed to traffic engineer.
Be sure and tell us of your successes.
By the time I retired, my title was truck dispatcher.
Successes?
Looking back, the Panama Canal would have been perfectly safe. One of the junior engineers went down there and started his own company. He became a millionaire. I told Margaret it would just be for a year or two. God damn it, no one wants to hear this. Who does he think he is?
We were such good friends.
Well, Lan, did you break the big news to Margaret?
Yes, sir. She was real excited.
Look, Randy, it seems to me there's got to be some way to make this work. Perhaps you could travel back and forth from Chapel Hill.
In 2 years, I can be a licensed mechanic.
If it's a matter of the expense, Margaret and I have some money put away.
No thanks. Paula needs to stay close to her family.
Chapel Hill isn't so far away.
Look, Mr. Madigan, Paula's going to have a baby.
Oh, I see. Well, lad, I guess you're doing the right thing.
It's what we both want.
Well, of course. Margaret will have a field day picking out a wedding present from her catalogs.
Yes, sir. Well, I better go. I'll come back tomorrow to finish the mowing.
Don't worry, lad. I'll manage. Rotten. Rotten on the vine. Well, well. The prodigal has returned.
Hey, Mr. Madigan. I was home, so I thought I'd stop by. Here's your map.
Thank you.
How's Mrs. Madigan?
She came out of this one like a real trooper. Stayed in the hospital only 5 days.
So I had to drop the class I usually take today.
Friday, Saturday. When is that baby due?
Not till January, but the doctor said Paula better hold off on working. What's that?
That is Margaret's newest purchase from the mail order people.
What happened to the bell?
She had to go to the bathroom and I was out back and I couldn't hear it. A week later, that foghorn arrived. He claims that I'm going deaf. I said, if I am going deaf, then listening to that racket is sure going to speed up the process. Oh, right! Hold your horses! She knows it spooks Ben Priestman's milking cow. Always like that after she gets out of the hospital. Would you mind checking in on her? She'd sure like to see you.
Yes, sir.
Say, what's this? not typed. Dear Mr. Madigan, I'm writing for my father, Stephen McDonald, who passed away of emphysema. Enclosed you'll find an unfinished letter to you. If you'd still like to submit your biography, I will distribute it to your classmates, along with the other biographies that continue to come in. Sincerely, Sarah McDonald Allen.
Dear Claire, I hope this letter finds you well. Because we're friends, I wanted to write to you personally to tell you how much I enjoyed your company during our years at Brown. During a recent state of incapacitation, I find my mind continually returning to memories of events back in Providence. A few days ago, my housekeeper was using a cleanser that smelled just like Tinsley's hair tonic. Suddenly, it was 1920 again, and I was all slickered up, ready to go out on the town. Remember how we would all pile into the back of John Z. Owen's old flivver and drive down to the dance hall by the river? I can't recall the name of the place, but there was a big terrace outside, and you could rent a canoe for a nickel. A real bargain if you could find a congenial companion.
What was the name of that place? John Z. Owens and that Model T, where we had to crank that old jalopy for half an hour before it would catch. What was it? Something on the Pawtuxet. Rose on the Pawtuxet. That's it. How could he forget that? We went there every Saturday night. Rose on the Pawtuxet.
Miss Madigan asked if there are any more potatoes.
What's that, lad?
Potatoes. Miss Madigan asked if you had dug up any more potatoes.
No, I think she's all played out.
Well, I better get going.
Say, did Margaret ask you about supper on Sunday?
Yeah, we won't be able to make it. Paul can't come.
Well, maybe next Sunday then.
Yeah, maybe.
You two have some kind of problem.
Well, a fight, sort of.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Oh, it's not much. It's just now that she's not cutting hair anymore, she thinks she can tell me how to spend my money.
Your money?
Well, that's right. She's been riding me because I've been spending money on beer after work.
You know, Margaret always handled the money for us, and it's been a load off my back, let me tell you.
I don't know. Maybe I'm just not cut out for being married.
Now look here, Randy. No one said it was going to be easy. Paula seems like a reasonable girl. Now why can't the two of you work this out?
Because she's always wanting to know where I am, what my business is. I've still got my own life, don't I?
Well, not exactly.
Look, I don't see why I have to tell her where the hell I am every minute. I think I've got the right to a few goddamn beers after a long day at work.
Is that the sort of talk that passes for a conversation at the garage?
You know something? You were right. I should have gone to Chapel Hill.
I was right.
Yeah.
Well then, what are you going to do now?
Not much I can do, I reckon.
Well, you do have some other alternatives.
What's that?
You could get a divorce.
Divorce?
Sure, people get divorced all the time now.
What about the baby?
You won't be doing that child any good by being stuck with a woman you can't get along with.
It's too late.
It's not too late. You'd be doing right by getting out now while Paula's still young. Of course you have to help support the child, but you might still manage to go to Chapel Hill.
I don't know about that.
Well, you have to make a decision sometime. You want to be married or you don't.
I do. I'm married.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm sure.
Then don't ever let me hear you whining about what a big mistake you made. And don't throw it back at her every time she has something to say about the way you spend money. Or start complaining about all the things you might have done if it weren't for her Life's too short for that kind of crap. I guess you better get back to your job. I've got to finish turning this garden over.
Yes, sir.
After you and Paula get this worked out, how about bringing her by for a bit of supper?
All right. I'll ask her.
Good. And by the way, when you get a chance, would you get my typewriter down from over the garage? I've got a letter to write.
I'll get it right now if you'd like.
Fine. Leave it on my desk.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, lad. Well, hello there. Another potato. We'll have this tonight for dinner. Yes, sir. A fella can practically live on potatoes.